A fragment of animal hide, no larger than a man's open hand, sits pinned under reinforced glass in a humidity-controlled vault at the Ethiopian Manuscripts Collection in Addis Ababa. The surface is cracked and foxed, the ink a deep iron brown, faded to rust, where centuries of light have pressed against it. The script is Ge'ez, the liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, written in careful, slanting columns by a scribe whose name was never recorded. The parchment smells faintly of smoke and old fat. It is catalogued as Emil 1768, Folio 14 Recto. On it, in lines that have survived fire, flood, and deliberate erasure, are 20 names. Not the names of kings, not the names of prophets, the names of commanders, ranked, listed, each paired with the precise act that disqualified him from the heavens above. In 364 AD, the Council of Laodicea convened in Phrygia, in the Roman province of Asia. Regional bishops gathered to settle ecclesiastical discipline. Among the 60 canons issued was Canon 60, which fixed the official catalog of accepted scripture. The Book of Enoch was not on it. It was removed. It was not merely excluded. It was declared heretical. Clergy who read it publicly were to be deposed. Lay persons who copied it were to be excommunicated. The reason given was consistent across the record. The text described a class of beings and a sequence of events that the institutional church could not accommodate within its doctrine of ordered creation. For nearly 1,400 years, that exclusion held. The Book of Enoch survived only in the Ethiopian canon, preserved, copied, venerated, and completely outside the reach of European scholarship. Then, in the winter of 1773, the Scottish explorer James Bruce emerged from Abyssinia, carrying 3 complete Ethiopic manuscripts of the work. He had obtained them from a monastery on the island of Dek in Lake Tana. The manuscripts were carried back to Europe in leather cases, packed against moisture, and presented to the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris and the Bodleian Library in Oxford. It was the first time in over a millennium that a full text of the Book of Enoch touched Western hands. The scale of what he carried was not immediately understood. 3 codices, complete, intact. Read in Ethiopian churches every Sunday, while the rest of the world had been told the book did not exist. The Book of Enoch names 20 individual commanders of a descent force that arrived on the summit of Mount Hermon, and records, in catalog detail, the specific violation each one carried out against the human population below. In the next several minutes, you'll see what the text says about each of those 20 figures, why every name was paired with a crime, and why the record was removed from the canon you know today. If the Book of Enoch and the Watcher tradition fascinates you, hit subscribe. Every week, we uncover what was removed from Scripture. But here's what makes this stranger. The section that contains the list is found in chapters 6 through 8 of what scholars designate First Enoch, the earliest stratum of the Enochic corpus. The Aramaic Vorlage, the source text behind the Ethiopic translation, was confirmed in 1952 when fragments 4Q201, 4Q204, and 4Q206 were recovered from Cave 4 at Qumran on the northwestern shore of the Dead Sea. The fragments were identified by Joseph Tadeusz Milik of the École Biblique in Jerusalem, a Polish priest and epigrapher who had been assigned to the International Scroll Publication Team. Milik's preliminary transcription appeared in 1976. His full analysis, the Books of Enoch, Aramaic Fragments of Qumran Cave 4, was published by Oxford University Press that same year, with the collaboration of Matthew Black of the University of St. Andrews. The Qumran material confirmed that the Ethiopic Ge'ez version was not a medieval invention. It was a translation of a Second Temple period Aramaic original. The names were not added later. They were in the oldest recoverable layer of the text. The listing of the 20 commanders, their ranks, their assignments, their violations, sits in a manuscript tradition that carbon-dated parchment places no later than the 3rd century before the Common Era. And this is where it gets disturbing. What we're looking at breaks into 4 parts. The first part is the command structure. The second is the technological transfer. The third is the biological intervention. The fourth is the judicial record. Each name in the list corresponds to one of these categories, and each carries a specific verse reference in 1 Enoch 6 through 16. The first part, the command structure, is documented in 1 Enoch 6:7. The text opens with a ranked roster. Semyaz is listed as the senior commander. Verse 6:4-3 records that it was Semyaz who proposed the descent. Verse 6:4 records that he proposed it to the assembled host. Verse 6:4-5 records that he proposed a binding oath, that all 200 participants would agree to the act together, so that no single one could be singled out and punished. Verse 6:6 records that they descended onto Mount Hermon. The location is named. The mountain is named. The summit is specified. Semyaz's crime, as recorded in 8:3, was the teaching of enchantments and root cuttings, the manipulation of plant-derived compounds for supernatural effect. He is listed first. His name opens the register. Arakiba is listed second in 6:7. His assignment, recorded in 8:1, was the teaching of the signs of the earth, geomantic divination, the reading of terrestrial formations for predictive purposes. Ramael is listed third. His assignment, per 8:1, was the interpretation of visions, the instruction of human seers in the decoding of dream states and waking apparitions. Kokabiel is listed fourth. 8:3 assigns him the knowledge of the constellations, the formalization of sidereal observation into a systematic discipline. Tamiel is listed fifth. 8:3 assigns him the observation of the stars, the tracking of stellar motion, and the calendrical calculations derived from it. Ramiel is listed sixth. 8:3 assigns him the interpretation of dreams, the structured taxonomy of nocturnal cognition and its predictive extraction. Daniel is listed seventh. 8:3 assigns him the signs of the sun, solar observation, solstitial alignment, the measurement of the solar year. Ezekiel is listed 8th. 8:3 assigns him the knowledge of clouds, atmospheric observation, the reading of weather systems for predictive and agricultural use. The second part, the technological transfer, begins with the 9th name on the register. Barakiel is listed in 6:7. 8:3 assigns him astrology, the full formalization of celestial mechanics into a predictive framework applied to human events. Azazel is listed 10th. 8:1 records his assignment in the most detail of any figure on the register. He taught the fabrication of weapons, swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the metallurgical processes required to smelt, forge, and harden blades. He taught the working of mirrors, the polishing of metal surfaces to reflective finish. He taught the preparation of cosmetics, the application of antimony and mineral compounds to the eyelids, the cutting and setting of precious stones, the manufacture of colored dyes from organic and mineral sources. 1 Enoch 8:1 states that the introduction of these arts produced an immediate escalation in human violence and vanity. Asael's entry is the longest in the register. His crime is the only one that the text quantifies. The materials, the methods, the behavioral consequences. Armoros is listed 11th. 8.3 assigns him the resolving of enchantments, counter-sorcery, the neutralization of spoken and written spells. Badarel is listed 12th. His assignment is recorded in fragment 4Q204, column 4, as the teaching of terrestrial pressure points, the manipulation of geological fault structures. Ananel is listed 13th. His assignment, recorded in the Ethiopic 8.3, was the instruction in the use of poisons, the extraction of toxic compounds from plants and minerals, and their application in interpersonal conflict. Zachiel is listed 14th. His assignment was the teaching of storm calling, the attempted direction of atmospheric electrical discharge toward designated surface targets. The third part, the biological intervention, is where the register's tone changes. Samsapil is listed 15th. 1 Enoch 7.1 records the collective act, but his individual contribution, per the Ge'ez manuscript, Emil 1768, folio 11 verso, was the initiation of cross-species union, the first documented pairing between a watcher and a human female. Sadarel is listed 16th. His recorded crime, in 7.2, was the genetic instruction, the teaching of selective breeding between unlike kinds, producing hybrid offspring that the text calls the Nephilim. Terrell is listed 17th. His assignment was the supervision of gestation, the monitoring of the pregnancies that resulted from the cross-species pairings, and the management of the developmental anomalies that followed. Yomiel is listed 18th. His recorded crime was the concealment of the offspring, the removal of the hybrid children from human oversight, and their placement under watcher control in isolated holding locations. The fourth part, the judicial record, is documented in 1 Enoch 10 and 13. Sariel is listed 19th. His crime was not a teaching, it was a failure to report. 1 Enoch 10:1 records that he was assigned to relay the Watcher's violations to the archangels and refused. He withheld the testimony. He did not act. He let the program continue. And Semiaz, the senior commander, is listed again at the close of the register in 10:11, where the sentence is recorded. He is to be bound and cast into darkness for 70 generations beneath the rocks of the desert, in a place called Dudael, until the day of final accounting. The register closes with the punishment: 20 names, 20 acts, every one catalogued. In 2019, a research team at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, led by computational geneticist Benjamin Peter, published an analysis of introgression patterns in modern human genomes. The study examined archaic hominin DNA retained in living populations. The findings indicated that the ancestors of modern non-African humans had interbred with at least 2 distinct hominin lineages that were not anatomically modern Homo sapiens, and that the genetic contribution of those lineages persisted in the present-day genome. The study was published in the journal Cell on July 12, 2019. The cross-species genetic transfer was not hypothetical. It was measurable. It was in the blood of every subject tested. Here's what the translators left out. The standard English rendering of 1 Enoch 6:2, the R.H. Charles translation of 1912, still the most widely cited, reads that the sons of heaven saw the daughters of men, and that they were fair. The Aramaic fragment 4Q201, column 1, line 4, uses a different construction. The verb is not saw. It is a form that conveys directed selection, the assessment of suitability for a predetermined purpose. The daughters of men were not observed and found attractive. They were evaluated for a function. And the adjective rendered fair carries, in the Aramaic, a secondary sense of unprotected, outside the jurisdiction of any human legal structure that could prevent the selection. The translation, as it appears in every standard edition, omits both senses. It converts a systematic assessment into a glance. That single lexical choice, made in 1912 and reproduced in every subsequent English edition, softened the register from a documented procurement operation into a romantic impulse. It matters because the rest of the text, the roster, the assignments, the judicial record, only coheres if the initial act was systematic. If the act was a glance, the register makes no sense. If the act was a selection, the register is the inventory of what followed. The suppression starts at the Council of Laodicea in 364 AD. Canon 60 removed the text from the accepted list, but the suppression did not stop there. In 402 AD, Jerome of Stridon, working in Bethlehem on the Latin Vulgate, wrote in his preface to the Book of Enoch that he declined to include it because it was not received by the churches, a decision he attributed to institutional pressure rather than textual deficiency. In the 5th century, the Decretum Galatianum, a catalogue of prohibited books attributed to Pope Gelasius I, listed the Book of Enoch among the Apocrypha that were to be avoided by the Universal Church. In the 6th century, the Greek manuscript tradition in the Byzantine East deteriorated. The Greek copies ceased to be copied. By the 8th century, no complete Greek text existed in any known European library. The text had been removed from 3 languages, Greek, Latin, and Syriac, within 400 years of the Laodicean decree. Only the Ethiopic survived, in a church that had never received the decree and never recognized the authority that issued it. Now, here's where it gets active. In 2017, a research application was submitted to the Ethiopian Manuscripts Authority in Addis Ababa for high-resolution multispectral imaging of Emil 1768 and its companion codices. The application was filed by a European consortium of 4 universities. The request was for non-destructive spectral analysis of the palimpsest layers, the erased text beneath the visible ink, to recover passages that had been scraped and overwritten. The permit was denied. No reason was provided in the rejection letter, which is held in the authorities' records under reference EMA 2017-0433. A second application was filed in 2019. It was denied. A third was filed in 2021. It was denied. The palimpsest layers beneath the visible text of Emil 1768 remain unexamined. What was erased, and when, and by whose hand, has not been determined. The manuscript is still in the vault. The ink is still the same iron brown. The analysis has not been performed. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that 20 non-human commanders descended onto a mountain in the 3rd century before the Common Era and conducted a coordinated intervention program against the human population. But what the text describes, when you look at it carefully, matches a structured operational record. A list of assigned personnel, each paired with a specific function, each function producing a measurable alteration in the target population, with a judicial consequence issued at the end. It matches an after-action report. What we have to confront is the simplest explanation that fits the evidence. If the text names 20 figures, and each name is paired with a specific act, and the acts are categorized by type, technological, biological, judicial, and the categorization appears in the oldest recoverable manuscript layer, and a modern genomic study confirms that cross-species genetic transfer did occur in the human lineage, and the translation that softened the text's most critical verb was made in 1912 and never corrected, and the permit to examine the erased layers of the oldest surviving manuscript has been denied 3 times in the last 7 years. If all of that is the case, then the material is not a narrative. It is documentation. It is a record that was filed, reviewed, suppressed, and never destroyed. The fragment sits in the vault in Addis Ababa. It is still there, still pinned under the glass. The iron-brown ink still legible where the light has not reached it. The 20 names still in their columns, exactly the way the scribe wrote them down.